Hello and welcome to the first video in Conflict Resolution Strategies 101. In this video series, I'll be talking about everything from defining your own approach to conflict to understanding how people problem solve together and what to do when you run into issues in your negotiations. In today's video, I want to give you an overview of how individuals define conflict. So let's start by looking at how different people might define conflict. Most people would agree that conflict involves opposing views between individuals or groups or some combination of the two. In marriage breakdown, it would be the conflict between spouses. However, it could also be something like a conflict between one of the spouses and the family of the other party. In a workplace situation, it could be a conflict between unionized employees and their managers. Conflict is often seen as two opposing and incompatible points of view. Let's take an example from parenting. One parent may feel that it's okay for their child to have a job at the age of 14, and the other may strongly believe that the child should focus exclusively on academics and not get a job until they're 18. These are incompatible points of view because the child can either work a job or not. There's no middle ground. A conflict can be perceived as something that holds a group or individual back from getting their basic needs met. An example of this would be where a controlling person will not allow their partner to have free access to a vehicle and money to buy groceries. People often define conflict by the strong emotions that accompany it. For instance, most people associate conflict with anger and perhaps violence. However, conflict doesn't always need to be perceived as negative. There are those individuals who see conflict as a request for much needed change. Looking at the issues can help identify areas that need modification or replacement. If individuals or groups in relationships could get together and notice conflict as an opportunity to redefine roles and responsibilities or look for ways to make positive change, imagine how many major conflicts could be mitigated. Finally, there are those who've made it a lifestyle to see the opportunity that arises from conflict. This can be a positive thing as long as the opportunities taken provide positive outcomes for everybody. For example, say a relationship is in trouble and both parties mutually agree that seeking out a notable and successful relationship coach to assist them would be a good idea. However, taking advantage of opportunities from conflict can be exploitive, so watch out for that. An example of this would be when one party in a separation uses an opportunity to leverage guilt over the other party in order to get them to agree to something that they really don't want. Conflict can be seen as a struggle between value systems. And this may not be too big of a deal, like in the example of where the team should or shouldn't work. But where it becomes problematic is when each party or group rigidly holds to an entire body of belief that conflicts with the other's belief system. We see this in religions and in regional disputes within countries all the time. If there is a conflict between entire value systems in a marriage, you may have an irreconcilable difference. Finally, conflicts arise when people or groups are operating from entirely different definitions of reality. When this occurs, you really need the help of a third party to get the logistics worked out in any kind of a way that's productive. So we can see that there are a lot of different ways of defining conflict. Some perspectives are more compatible with problem solving and others create some challenges. For instance, if you know that conflict can be hard, but you're willing to embrace it and can be open to the input of others, you can probably find a way to solve the conflict. However, if a person rigidly holds to a point of view with absolutely no ability or desire to see other ways of looking at things, it may be next to impossible for them to be open enough to finding a solution outside of their scope. This is where a seasoned, skilled facilitator or mediator can make a lot of difference. They know the language and approaches to use in order to help really rigid people possibly expand their perspectives. Now, there's always a chance that some folk will be so stubborn that they will never budge on a position, but most people can learn to adjust their approach. Being open to change and willing to explore conflict-solving strategies helps a person to grow in all areas of their lives because the things they learn can be applied to every facet of life, from work and family to navigating daily life in a social world. So, how do you see conflict? And are you open to having your perspective challenged or broadened? I hope so, because you'll become a better person by doing so. Thank you for watching this video, and be sure to not miss out on any of our upcoming videos by hitting the subscribe button below. See you soon.